In January 2020, I was looking for a spiritual community which was inclusive, progressive, and spoke to my restoration heritage. Beyond the Walls and the Project Zion podcast were some of the first exposures that I had to Community of Christ. Since they were both so universally accessible online, I was able to dive into learning more about our culture, history, and theology. Our scriptures tell the story of how we as a people have walked with God. For example, Doctrine and Covenants sections 116, 156, and 164 specify that people of color, women, and LGBT folks are able to be a part of our priesthood. Sections 150 and 163 speak about how we are desecrating the earth by thoughtlessly wasting resources and calls us to defend the planet. These scriptures speak powerfully and boldly on pressing topics, and they have a profound effect on those who hear them. Despite this, there are accessibility hurdles for many people. By not having our scriptures universally accessible online, we are creating an economic barrier. For those who don't live in North America, it may cost an unreasonable amount to ship a set of scriptures. Even though the digital copy is cheaper, it still creates an economic barrier which impoverished people aren't able to overcome. Some have suggested that the solution to this financial problem is for impoverished people to just ask for a copy. Members of Community of Christ are incredibly generous and are eager to show love in the form of gift giving. However, if you are living in poverty, reaching out and asking for something many people are able to afford can be a humiliating experience. We should not be forcing people to announce their poverty in order to access our scriptures. Who knows how many people we have unknowingly been denying the blessings of scripture to because of this unjust system that we have created. I am privileged to be in a financial situation where I had the ability to buy copies of not only our scripture, but also our history books. As I studied Community of Christ history, I found inspiration from Marge Troe, whose ministry has had a profound impact on our church. She defined ministry as simply perceiving a need and responding to it. Today, I have perceived the need for universal scripture access. Since I uphold the mission initiatives of abolish poverty and suffering, develop disciples to serve, and invite people to Christ, I have an obligation to help those who do not have the same privileges that I do. Community of Christ is structured in a rather unique way. While we have an ecclesiastical structure which includes leaders, we also have an avenue for change at a grassroots level. Any passionate disciple of Christ is able to perceive a need and bring a resolution forward to address a topic. The process begins at the congregational level, where in a conference, the members of that congregation debate, amend, and pass, table, or veto a resolution. If it is passed, it is brought to a mission center conference for a similar process. If it is again passed, it is brought for debate and a vote at World Conference. If it again is passed there, then we have exercised our right to govern the church by common consent. In other words, there is a way for passionate people to let the Spirit breathe in our church. This past summer, I drafted a resolution asking the First Presidency to consider making the scriptures universally accessible on the church's website, and my congregation ended up improving and passing it. I am hopeful that the Canada East Mission Center will pass it in the coming months, and that we will bring it to the World Conference, and there the delegates will see the value that this would bring to our church globally. I am so passionate about and thankful for our scriptures. I believe that they are bold and powerful. I feel a loving God reaching out to me as I read them, and I want them to be universally accessible to anyone who wants them. I stand in awe at the fact that I can help facilitate this through our process of common consent. I am so thankful that our church is structured in a way that allows me to fulfill my ministry like this. Let us look forward to Zion and help create it.